What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again with another upload. Um, First and foremost, primarily, I also want to tell people that I reached out to before in regards to emails. I've already emailed, I responded to you, so check your emails. If it didn't, what could I say? 90% of the time, you probably sent me an email that I really didn't even have interest in. And unfortunately, I'm not obligated to actually respond to emails which don't have anything to do with my current existence as far as relevance is concerned. So, hate to bust your bubble, but I can only please a certain amount of people a day. And sometimes, just maybe today, isn't yours. So, in regards to what I'm going to talk about today, is what's known as the basics of the hierarchy of law. The reason why I want to touch on this basis is because most of us have been confused, we have been misled into believing that for the primary purpose of what we deal with as so-called law is concerned, is that we place statutes and codes over the importance of what natural law is. Natural law is basically nature. It's just simply just what is, what has already been applied to the metaphysical realm as we know as planet Earth. And the distinct appellation thereof. And then we also have to understand also to mention that statutes and codes and ordinances are not the primary, sole, basic importance of life. However, because our reality has been switched, we have often believed, most times than less, that these things are the most primary importance, and we've been duped. And most people don't really wish to acknowledge that. It's perfectly fine. The agents on this that watch this channel, they will override and try to put a virus in the system, make you believe that what I'm saying isn't true. But first and foremost, before anyone wrote anything on a piece of paper to dictate to humankind that this is the way that you need to operate your life, trust me, the creator had already set the order to stars. So fuck what they talking about. You follow what I'm saying? And that's a primary fact. This is the truth. Yeah, I mean, every time you turn around, you look at what you see on NASA, which is the basis of the whole so-called space front. Like, you know, they'll sit there and say, "Oh, well, we're still searching, we're still studying, yeah, exactly." Because there's a lot of shit you don't know. There's a lot of stuff that you just ain't going to really interpret because it's hidden by the Creator's hand. Perfect hands as it is. And the truth be told, this is the primary importance of why people come to this channel, because obviously you have to realize that your reality is dictated to you, has been dictated by somebody else who doesn't even know what the fuck they talking about. So without that being even further even added on to, let's get to it. Hierarchy. The first order of law is natural law. These are universal principles, which so necessarily agrees with nature and the state of man. That without observing their inherent maxims, the peace and happiness of society can never be preserved. Knowledge of natural laws may be attained merely by the light of reason. This is what I just said. From the facts, for their essential agreeableness with the constitution of human nature. Natural law exists regardless of whether it is enacted as a positive law. When law begins to emerge into human consciousness, through word, thought, and deed, we come to the next order of law on this planet. The most fundamental law of all human law has to do with survival, which is a universal principle. It has to do with human interactions of any kind in any relations, buying, selling, or trading, or relating in any way. It is based upon treating or dealing with others the way you would have them treated or to be dealt with. This is the law of commerce. The law of commerce has been in operation since men interacted with each other starting many thousands of years ago through the Sumerian Babylonian era, where it was codified and enforced. Ancient artifacts, dating over 6,000 years old, reveal that the system was so complex it even included receipts, coin money, shopping lists, manifestos, and a postal system, with the medium being in baked clay. As a derivative of common law, being removed from natural law and therefore inferior, is common law. Common, which is Latinized co together, and munis, which is service, gift, and exchange. To exchange together. This emerged basically in England, those Anglo-Saxons, out of disputes over a portion of the earth in allodium, sovereign ownership of land, and was based on common sense. So common law is the law of the earth. Common law gave rise to the jury system and many writs and processes which governments have absorbed and statutized and made into rules and regulations and processes in courts. That's what I just said before I even started reading this. Common law procedures were based on the opportunity to face your accuser or the injured party in front of witnesses to sort out the problem directly. This process was never intended to include lawyers, attorneys, or judges construing their own law. We're going to put that in quotation marks, as these titles are all based upon the fiction of representation, which can never be the real thing. After common law comes governments and laws and legislative regulations ad infinitum of the organic republics of the states. The only laws that the state can create is to allow commerce to flow more efficiently within the state. The only law the central government of the United States of America, lowercase, could create was to allow commerce to flow more efficiently between the states. It was never intended to regulate the people, the sovereigns. Below that, the garbage froth, what we call statutory code, more or less is politics and a private copyrighted company policy of foreign corporations, such as the uppercase United States of America, the state of, the county of, the city of, etc. The purpose of these municipalities, Latin, munis, service, gift, exchange, and plus, capere, to take service in exchange, is to govern fictitious entities such as John Doe and Kmart, not to regulate people. Remember back when you thought that you were John Doe, because that is how it's written on your driver's license, if you own one. One of our problems is that when we engage with government, municipalities, and other such elements in all our dealings is the law on which we have been conditioned to interact with and on and in their level. We have never risen to the level where the base of law is, where the reality is also. The power, the solidity, and the preeminence exists, the sovereign's level. But now we can function in this powerful level. This is checkmate. This is the end of the game. This is the remedy. Commerce. The principles, maxims, and precepts of commerce law are eternal, unchanging, and unchangeable. They are expressed in the Bible, both Old, New, and Testament. We already know that. We learned this in the second course of how the law of commerce has plagued us for more than 6,000 years. The law of commerce, unchanged for thousands of years, forms the underlying foundation for all law on this planet and for governments around the world. It is the law of nations and everything that human civilization is built upon. This is why it is so powerful. When you operate at this level, by these precepts, nothing that is of inferior statute can overturn or change it or abrogate it or meddle with it. It remains the fundamental source of authority and power and function of reality. Let's talk about it. The affidavit. Commerce in everyday life is the vehicle or glue that holds or binds the corporate body politic together. More specifically, commerce consists of a mode of interacting, doing business, or resolving disputes, whereby all matters are executed under oath, certified on each party's commercial liability, and by sworn affidavit of what is intended to possess the same effect as true, correct and complete, not misleading, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but it. The affidavit is usually required for an application for a driver's license in IRS Form 1040, a voter's registration, a direct treasury account, a notary's copy certification, or certifying a document, and on nearly every single document that the system desires others to be bound or obligated. Such means of signing is an oath or a commercial affidavit executed under penalty of perjury, true, correct, and complete. Whereas in a court setting, testimony, oral, is stated as judicial terms by being sworn to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help your God. In addition to asserting all matters under solemn oath for personal, commercial, financial, and legal liability for the validity of each and every statement, the participant must provide material evidence, i.e., ledgering or bookkeeping, providing the truth, validity, relevance, and verifiability of each and every particular assertion to sustain credibility. Commerce is antecedent to and more fundamental to society and the courts or legal systems, and exists and functions without respect to courts or legal systems. Commercial law, the non-statutorily variety as presented below, and maxims 1 through 10, the economic extension of natural law into man's social world and is universal in nature, the foundational, invariant, necessary, and sufficient principles of maxims of commerce pertaining herein we will talk about later. Why do I put this video out here today? I put this video out here to elaborate more deeply upon the concepts of what people don't know about when they come to these processes of the basics of UCC1. Now, everyone has their different take on it. Yeah, I come from a more interpretive standpoint. I don't come from a fundamental standpoint to particularly, have a class, so to speak, or start a foundation on YouTube, whatever the case may be. That's not my MO. My modus operandi in regards to my channel is to inform you of why you're even doing what you're doing and the purpose and behind why you're doing what you're doing. Not so much the end, it's the means to what the end is for you. Other channels, yeah, they say other stuff. They mystify it, like I said before. And what they do is they also entrench a lot of other concepts into something when this has to be broken down into several segments so you can understand for yourself on why you're even doing what you're even doing in the first place. I'm not a celebrity. So if you found my channel on YouTube, then obviously you realize that there's some sort of dissonance in your reality. We know this. This is the truth. And the reason why a lot of people fail or a lot of people become frightened or scared is because of their lack of understanding of the concepts of what they're even dealing with, which is a primary fundamental truth. Whether they wish to acknowledge it or not, publicly or, secretly to themselves, it's their idea. But this is something that is fundamental, and yes, this is a remedy. It is very powerful. Most state, local, and federal entities don't wish to acknowledge it because they know for a fact that the way they operate is through fiction. It's through make-believe. It's not real. Now, it has real results because, unfortunately, the agents don't know themselves that unwittingly, and I don't mean anybody that's decorated or so-called, put into a uniform or whatever case. I'm talking about people whose minds are molded to the matrix. They don't even know about the process. And yes, they monitor these channels to gain more understanding so they can go ahead and try to subvert it. But it's the fundamental truth about how all commerce is governed. So we can just give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say if you did try that. Let's just say if you did do what you would to try to subvert the movement. That doesn't stop people of proper understanding. It stops those of misunderstanding, but it doesn't stop those of proper understanding. That's the thing that you'll never write a book about. You'll never write a code about it. You never write a statute about it because those of proper understanding, the only way that you could actually subvert the movement is use of force. And you already know what's going to be met with that, So it is what it is. But when it all boils down to it, the people who actually view this channel and are coming to these processes, please come, come through the narrow door. And to those who have already embarked upon this journey, I'd say this, you talk to people on multiple occasions and they've already given you the wrong advice. Yes, they give you the wrong advice, and that's why you fucked up in your commercial processes because you listened to the wrong people. Now, am I saying I'm the be-all, end-all, know-all? No, of course not. Universe forbid I would ever say that. But at least I know if I'm going to do something, at least I'm going to do it myself first. And then I will tell you how it works. I would never suggest to you something that I haven't done myself. That's a fact. A lot of people go to different sources. And unfortunately, most of the sources that you actually went to are actually sources that are on the opposition. So, yeah, that's another failure. And lastly, most people who actually obtained information have often got these paltry explanations from people who didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about. Remember, if you don't remember anything I say on this channel, remember this. You were never supposed to know about the UCC1. Never. And unfortunately, because now that you are aware of it, of course they're going to fucking try to subvert it. Because it's one of them situations where it's like, yo, we had to give a remedy because we don't have one. This is the government, so to speak. And since we had to create one. We hid the remedy in order for us to keep ourselves where we're at. You know, there's so many people out there in the so-called United States who don't have a fucking clue. You know what I'm saying? You know, when they deal with stimulus payments and all this other stuff, yeah, great, fantastic, we get it. But when it also comes down to the continuity of how you're actually supposed to actually maintain your own livelihood, not by the basis of government doles or programs, yeah, of course. You know, we're not going to tell you how to get out of that. We're going to keep you right where you're at because that keeps us where we're at. And this process threatens the sovereignty of the elite. And they know that. And yes, I know that too. And with that being said, how could you not want to come to a situation of conscientiousness yourself and your personal existence for somebody to not rob you of your own creator given right to live? I'm not anti-government, so let's get this straight. Like I said, I'm pro-government because I govern myself. But when it comes down to the process, which I talk about on my channel publicly, it's so funny because if people are to rule your life, so to speak, and to be in public, then they have to be aware of the fundamental purpose of what life is. And if they're not, then they totally are not to be in that position, and they underlie and undermine the actual purpose of what life is. And they basically spit in the creator's face. That's their problem. You know, power, prestige, money, influence, you name it. This is what they all vie for. And what we have to understand is we can't go that route if we're going to be sovereigns, because we have to understand that we live for the creator given purpose that we're given, which is light. So we don't seek those materialistic things. But that doesn't mean we have to let somebody else take our shit. And you just learned a very significant truth in less than 20 minutes. I get to the point. I don't pussyfoot. And if people wish to, on these other channels, you know, they make these long ass videos about trust, and man, go ahead. Go right ahead. I'm names aside. Ain't got no beef with nobody. Trust me. I'm in my own lane. I'm in my own lane with this shit. You follow what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know, y'all can go listen to that stuff, but I'm telling you right now, they're dicking you around the corner. And yeah. And the people, they get to that point where it's like they get frustrated. And yeah, you get frustrated because you're not learning the truth. You're not learning the principles behind what you're operating on. You're not learning a significant truth. What you're learning is someone else's opinion. See, everything I talk about and read from is factual. It's documented. It's not my opinion. I just elaborate a little bit more when I get off the track to try to give more proper understanding if in case you misunderstood. That's what I do on my channel. Now, all these other channels, yeah, whatever. Is what it is. Have a ball. Roll a dice. You know, move your little piece on the Monopoly board. You know what I'm saying? Just don't land in jail. That's all I can say. Real talk. And please don't land on property tax. Basically, I say these things on my channel to inform you of a more or less understood or interpreted truth. That's all. Simple as that. So agents, you know what it is. It is what it is. We don't give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. You know, y'all spending your time investigating and trying to, you know, craft all these little. Come on, man. You'll waste your time. You will waste your time. Trust me. Maybe you will waste your time. You will. And when it all boils down to the fundamental facts of the greater, you know, responsibility of the people who watch this channel, who want to come out this process, please contact me via email if you're serious. You know, if indeed you're serious. If you're not, please don't contact me at all. I don't waste my time. I won't waste your time. Simple as that. Other than that, it's your boy, Lord Enlightened Luciferian Prince, coming at you once again. And I keep it very simple on my channel. I don't have time to play because time is of the essence. You know, you're sitting out here, you know, you got this so-called coronavirus. I don't know nobody personally has got it still to this day. It's been over 5 months since they've been quarantining. I don't know nobody at all who's ever got it. But it's what it is. You believe the media if you want. They're just stalling off so they can go ahead and try to fix shit behind the scenes because they know that this is the best way we can do what we need to do behind the scenes because we don't have nothing else. I better understand what's getting ready to happen. You know what I'm saying? They crashed the system a long time ago, you know, and everyone's sitting here anticipating something that has already taken place. Yeah, they're scrambling. The United States is pissed off because they don't have the reason of supremacy over a lot of other countries in this world. So they had to basically concoct a scheme. And what they did was they collaborated with other international powers and interests, and they just said, well, "Fuck it, we just gonna run with it. Lock everybody down." You know why you lock down? Because the world is in a state of financial panic, and it's not just us, it's so to speak. It's a lot of other nations too. Do your research. You'll see what I'm saying is very true. And what they're doing is just stalling off by time. Yes, commerce is still happening, but it's happening in the shadows. It's happening on an international monetary level fund. It's happening on a level that you don't even comprehend. But you don't have to take my word for it. Follow what I'm saying? You don't. You know, keep going out there getting your little stimulus checks. Keep sitting on your ass. You're going to find out that your reality for you and your kids, if you do have some, it's going to be very stark. But don't listen to the brother. Go ahead and turn on CNN and go listen to the other. It is what it is. I don't care. Peace. Take care. Love y'all. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the like button. Make sure that you also do hit the notification so you can actually get these uploads on a continual basis. It's what it is. Love y'all. Agents,